I'm Geraldine Redcorn, and people call me Jerry. I'm a Caddo Indian, and I began doing this just about 10 years ago. And I started when we were, as the Caddo Cultural Club, I was invited down to the Texas Archaeological Society in Idabel, Oklahoma to do our dances. We went into a museum, the Red River Museum in Idabel, and it was amazing because we saw all these Caddo pots, and it was just an enlightenment for us because we had never seen our pots before. And there were some people, some Caddos in their 80s that had never seen this, so we were just astounded. I was so impressed with the beauty and all of the intricacies of the pots and the different shapes and the types that I wanted to start doing this. When I look at the designs, I'm really amazed that they are just so complex, and they give me an idea that these people really, in their civilization, were able to pull away the women from, doing crops, and that they were able to sit there and design and create all of these wonderful, basically abstract designs. My craft has gotten better, and I've learned more Caddo history. It's been something that basically I think has been denied most Native Americans is the history, because with the removal of Indians, or especially, I'll just talk about the Caddo Indians, removal from Louisiana, and going from a huge group of people, a great nation of, a confederacy of tribes that had good civilization, to 300 who escaped to Oklahoma. So, and in that process, our history was lost, and of course the art of making pots was lost in that period of time with our exposure to the French and the Spanish and the American settlers, Texans. There was an exhibit at the Art Institute of Chicago, and it was a major exhibit, and I was invited to be one of the demonstrators. In fact, there were 3 people who were demonstrators. 2 of them were Creeks, and then there was myself, a Caddo, and I was, pleased that they recognized that it would be important because there were so many Caddo artifacts, and there were so many Caddo pots that were in that exhibit. It was just overwhelming because I had never seen some of the pots. They came from the Smithsonian Institute, and they came from different museums. And the construction, I think everybody had to agree in that exhibit that the Caddo pottery exhibit of the pots were just the finest. But I felt like, as they invited me to be artist in residence, and so I was there in December for 2 weeks, and I gave demonstrations to the people there, and I gave lectures on Caddo history. I didn't start out to give lectures on Caddo history, but as the ignorance of the people there about Mississippian pottery or about Caddos was so great, or that period of time in history, that I ended up, they would say, well, now, why did you people, the Caddos, lose the art of making pots? And so I would go into a little bit about the removal period, which was traumatic for our people, and go into allotment, which was also traumatic because they were intent on breaking up communities and breaking up families, and breaking up Indian ways of doing things. And then the third area that they really didn't know about was taking the children when they're very young to boarding schools, and and refusing to let them to speak their languages. So those are some of the things that I was wanting to tell the people.